guys, how are you doing? Hope you're good. So if you are just joining us, do drop a like, comment, share. Let me know that you've been through. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you're going. So welcome to the show. We're doing an extra show today because I'm away I'm away next week. So I won't be doing any lives next week. There's some tasks and things set up for you whilst I'm away on holiday. But we're going to be focusing purely on tasks and content next week. So I thought I'd just do this one. I've been on the phone a lot to a lot of clients recently, and we're talking about like periods or chapters of things that are not going quite well for people. And it could be anything. It could be from a marriage split. It could be a lack of confidence, a lack of identity, poor health, not having a great time at work, not enjoying work, whatever it might be. There is usually something that dominates our life, right? There's usually something that dominates the space in between your ears, and your mind and your brain. There's always some form of stress or emotion. And it distracts you from you very much being the very best version of yourself. It distracts you from focusing on your exercise. It distracts you from eating well. It promotes you to want to drink and do stupid things. So there's always a chapter. But I think what's really important to understand is that those chapters are not forever. They're simply a chapter. If you let them, then they will become a permanent fixture in your life, and understand everyone has to go through a grievance of emotion, whether it's a breakup of a family, of being made redundant, of losing a loved one, or whatever it might be. There has to be a period where you soak that in and you deal with that. But then if you start allowing that to consume you forever, then it's going to affect your life forever. Okay, or if you understand that this, I've got to go through a chapter here, I've got to go through some time where I've got to deal with it, I've got to process things, I've got to understand things. But there is a line where you get to that and you've processed it, and then you cross that line, and then it goes into feeling sorry for yourself and self-pity, and feeling like really hard done by. And I the only reason I say this is because, number one, all those years back, when I was in that place, I remember going into that self-pity mode. But with all of that guys that I've spoken to and worked with, the thousands of guys, I see it and I understand that the funnel, if you like, the trauma of a relationship break, or a change of job, or the transition, or the distraction, and then it doesn't get any better for them, and then all of a sudden it's very much like, oh, woe is me. And then you wake up 2 years later and you realise you haven't paid any attention to yourself. You realise you've been dragging your heels for the last couple of years. And it is very, very, very difficult. There is no two ways about this. It is very, very difficult to bring yourself back. But if you don't, that chapter will consume your life. Okay? And you have to have some coping mechanisms. You have to have some SOPs, which is what we used to call back in the days of the military, standard operational procedures, to bring yourself back. Figure out who you are. Start moving on with the next part of your life. What's the next chapter? I always think that when someone's in a chapter and it's completely bombarding you and taking over, it's the end of one chapter, but you can slowly transition into a brand new chapter that's exciting, that's new, that's fresh. And look at that as an opportunity rather than a distraction. Once you have processed things, once you've taken a couple of weeks or a week, however long it takes you individually to process the situation. So I just wanted to do this post particularly because it's so apparent with so many men that I'm working with that it's bound to be apparent for somebody out there. Pack it in. It's bound to be apparent for somebody that's out there, that's maybe in that chapter, that dark place, that place of transition, that place of no confidence, that place of lack of identity. And maybe you just need that kick up the arse to push yourself through to the next positive chapter in your life. Otherwise, it's going to consume you. And you're not going to focus on your health. You're going to put on weight. You're going to eat dog shit. You're going to drink loads. You're going to self-sabotage. And the only person that's going to suffer is you. And you might not give a fuck right now, but you should give a fuck about yourself. Okay, you're the number one priority on the list. Number one. If you're not number one, then no one else, and everything below you that matters doesn't get the benefit of you. Okay? So let's not make this chapter a lifelong thing. Let's just make this chapter a chapter ready to jump on to the next one. All right, guys? If you haven't already and you're interested in coming to work with me on our 6-week Zero to Hero program, on your health, your fitness, your mindset, your strategy, life strategies, your routines, your habits, your personal management, it's much, much, much more than just that fucking fitness course, okay? It's so much more. It's preparing you for life again. It's finding out who you are again, finding your purpose again, fulfillment. And you won't regret it, guys. And it's like insanely, what I feel is insanely cheap investment right now for what it is. We've knocked loads off for those action takers that